Today, y'all, is a saucy day. I'm so excited. It's actually been a long time since I've been on a call, and some of y'all have seen and have known my friend Burton for years, like for literal years. I mean, me and him, we've gone live together, we've done tons of videos together. PropStream was one of the first platforms that I was ever introduced to in the real estate investing space, So like nationwide comps, pulling leads, all kinds of stuff. It all derives from that. Burton and I have done calls. Like we've locked up deals live before using the software. We've found investors. We've done comping classes. We've done a whole bunch of stuff for the community. And man, some bonker stuff just went down, and I'm just really excited to be one of the first really to deliver this to you guys. And I know some of y'all have been following me for years, right? So this is just huge, considering that I always felt in my heart that it was like I felt so split. You know what I mean? Because I love both of these softwares, and now two have decided to become one. And so, man, I'm here to introduce my good friend Burton. Burton, for my people that don't know who you are, dude, please introduce yourself to my audience, my friend.
Hey Q, first off, thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to see you. Love your energy, love your community, and love what you represent. So it's always a pleasure to be here and to share, my wealth of knowledge. As for me, I've been a PropStream representative. I guess you can call me the brand ambassador, but I have a lot of titles. I do a lot of things. But 12 years working under that brand. Love the culture, love what we do, love the fact that we're trying to help investors like you guys that are watching or listening to help more homeowners and your buyers out there. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm a data nerd. And love to see where this data is going to continuously go in the next 10, 15, 20 years from now.
I think we can all say data wizard is a better term. You know, I'm telling you, man, me and Burton, we have pulled some leads out of our butts, dude, and it's been crazy, like legit. I did not really think of this, right? But like one of the best stack leads that I've ever pulled using PropStream was people who purchased a property within the last 12 to 24 months that are recently deceased that just had a mortgage pulled out on a house. And then again, senior homeowners that own properties that are over 3,500 square foot that are two stories
Mm,
or higher is another one that I had pulled out from PropStream. You know what I'm saying? Because you could just get so meticulous, guys. And for y'all that don't
yes.
know how these things work, the idea of a software is to be able to create a high probability lead, and a high probability problem comes from a high probability lead. And then we create conversions based on solutions that we provide to homeowners, right? And so like PropStream being one of the premier databases that you can actually pull this type of information from has been around for years, right? With that being said, there have been a lot of companies that try to come and replicate it, and it's stood strong this entire time. So man, I just caught wind of this, right? So I have great business relationships in the space with a lot of different service providers, but this one in particular has always been, in my opinion, one of the best competing products really involved with the industry. And guys, batch leads, batch dialer, the batch brand, batch skip tracing, it started out as just a skip tracing company, then created all of these different subcategories of business, which it would actually become a pretty decent competitor in the space. Now, again, man, all heads must bow. The glory of what it is to have data in this business. PropStream has been around for like way longer, right? And so to see this happening is just so crazy. And I wanted to do this video for all of my people on YouTube because I don't know what this exactly means, right? So I have questions. Burton has answers, and that's what the premise of the call is going to be. Because to me, I'm just like, how do you even fuse these two? So I want to start
Correct.
from the beginning. How did this
Yeah.
even happen? First and foremost, how did that conversation even start? Like, it just sounds crazy to me?
Before, that's a great question. I guess let's kind of take it all the way from the beginning. For those that don't know, we started back in 2006, and our whole goal was to be that middleman in terms of investors were going to the county directly and speaking to realtors directly. So how could we, a service provider, do that on their behalf? So that's essentially the birth of PropStream. Let's go get that data on behalf of our investors. Let them just go through our platform to source that data instead. And so, as the years progressed, as technology got better, real estate evolved. What used to take weeks, many, many years ago, is now happening in minutes. And so again, we created the product in an era which was much different than in today's world. And what I mean by that is back then you go to the county, grab your lists, and then you lick postcards, send them out, or you knock on doors the next weekend because people are working. So you get what I'm saying? Like things were kind of there were roadblocks, if you will.
Yep.
As technology evolved, right, companies like Batch started coming around. And so Batch saw the need of acquiring phone numbers and emails. Batch also saw the need of getting in front of a homeowner much sooner than, sending out a postcard and so forth. And so hence that's the birth of where Batch skip tracing and or Batch leads and Batch dialer came into the business. And what
Yep.
we were seeing is people were coming to us for the data because we were, again, when it comes to the data, and I'm very proud to say thank you, team, for all the hard work that you do on the back end. But right now, our data is considered to be one of the top data sets in the market. And we're very proud of that. I mean, it's not something that comes easy. We had to make a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of learning curves, but here we are today. But how do you prove that that data is really good? That data is only good if someone actually picks up the phone, right? And so there was that in my personal opinion that void, right? You can only say that you have the best data, but if you can't get that homeowner to pick up, if you can't get that homeowner or buyer to, take your call, is it really? And so we essentially, as our company evolved, we started introducing some things, right? So we had our own skip tracing, we had our own campaign section, but there's still that need to get to that homeowner as soon as possible.
Hmm.
So a few months ago, our CEO and Jesse Burrell at Batch obviously had a conversation, and we're just talking about normal stuff. How can they work together in a sense to better the products? And I don't know if you guys caught wind of the podcast that Jesse and our CEO did yesterday, but Jesse was going to go to market anyways. And so
Yep.
Batch easily could have gotten to fallen into anybody's hand, in my personal opinion. But our goal is again to help the investor. And since investors were already taking our data and going over to their services, that was almost kind of like a no-brainer, right? So
Man,
the decision was made. We decided to acquire Batch Leads and Batch Dialer with the anticipation to integrate technology into PropStream.
this is crazy, dude. First and foremost, there's two things that I want to really point out for everybody that's watching this. And I love this, right? Because number one, conversation wasn't just a conversation about to buy the product. It was really just about overall collaboration. You see, guys, I have this thing when it comes to wholesaling, and I meet a lot of people in the wholesale business. A lot of people think that we're against each other, when reality is we just learn how to collaborate. We'd actually be able to eliminate so much in the space as far as the negativity and the clouds that surround the business. And so, guys, the people at the top are collaborating. Look at that. I mean, they had a genuine conversation and it led to something that became a business deal. Collaboration over competition, always, man. I never say I have competitors. I always say I have people that I'm betting my company against. Doesn't necessarily mean that I want the worst for them, but I'm also willing to learn because when you're a constant student, man, things like this happen. Magic happens, right? And so that's number one. Number two, a company that thrives. All right, now we talked about PropStream being created in 2006. If I'm not mistaken, '07, '08, the market crashed. And to stand strong beyond and past that, why would anybody want to buy into a software for real estate leads when there's a freaking market that is upside down right now? And so, guys, know that you're trusting a company that was built on one of the hardest foundations that you could ever build a company on. One, two, collaboration, right? And that's one of the things that I love so much about PropStream, man. So with the integration of all these different softwares that Batch already has in place, what can we look forward to in PropStream? Is it now going to be called Prop Leads, Prop Dialer, or like I'm wondering,
These are great questions.
have we
No, as
thought
of
of these
right,
things?
these are great questions. As of right now, status quo. We're not trying to dramatically change anything or disrupt anybody's business that have already been built upon these two platforms. But yes, we definitely want to integrate the data sets that we've acquired through Batch Leads. So we want to make sure, PropStream is already a multi-source product. We collect data from the largest repositories out there. We network with tons, and I mean hundreds of MLS boards out there. For those of you that are realtors, you know there are like 700-ish MLS boards, and we're friends with the majority of them. And if you haven't befriended us yet and you're an MLS board, please come give us a call. We'd love to work with you and see how we can help you guys help us and help your investors and realtors that are using the product. But to me, I think that's the most important part is that it right now we want to maintain status quo so we don't disrupt anything, but the intended goal is to eventually integrate that into PropStream and not just the leads part, but also the dialer. Again, the goal is to make sure the investor benefits from this. And so we know that the investors right now have to go from one platform to the next platform, so it only makes sense to consolidate the two, and that's essentially what's on the roadmap. It's not going to happen overnight. We're still kind of in the research phase of understanding both tech decks, but our dev teams are working diligently right now to create something that's going to obviously um, be the reason why we acquired the product to begin with. And if you were to ask me, the obvious questions are obviously answered. Are you guys bringing in the data? Yes. Is there going to be a dialer in PropStream? Absolutely. So look out for that. Again, our goal is to show you the value of our data. And in order to do that, we need to get you in front of that homeowner investors. So I see a future, very, very, very near future, of you being able to not only pull a list, but gather good phone numbers and then being able to be on the phone with the homeowner within about 30 minutes or less.
Dude, this is just insane, man. Guys, PropStream has always had great data and great data stacking factors that just go well beyond what most softwares can. And they also just recently integrated AI technology to help you even
Yes.
point those data points even quicker. You know what I'm saying? Now, Burton, I have not used PropStream, man, if I'm being real, in the last 6 months. So I'd love a breakdown of some of the new features, and then if we can get into some of the features that are going to come given the new integration that's going to be happening. Obviously, I know how these things work. We're talking about two multi-million dollar companies becoming one here. Guys, that's not just like, yo, we sold the company, everything starts tomorrow. No, this is like a process, right? And so like just from my side of things, right? Because I've been able to do this stuff with companies like PropStream. Man, I'm telling y'all right now, like the reason why I'm able to give this information to you guys so fast is because of the relationships that I've built within the industry and the great business that I've done with these types of people, man. So, like, dude, it's great that we can do this. But what I'm super excited about are the newest things that are going to be added because now we know that a dialer's on the way, right? Just for everybody that's here, Burton, would you mind just showcasing some of the cool things that y'all have dropped this year in PropStream? Because I know that there's so much that y'all have added, and it's been that long since I've used it, man. So I'm just excited to see myself.
No problem. I think the most important part I like to start is obviously we like to make sure that investors or whoever is using our product benefits. Are you okay if I share my screen briefly?
Yes, go on ahead.
Okay, perfect. Let me do. I think the first place I'd like to start is we did an update on our pricing. Now, pricing hasn't changed. All we did was give you more options and some benefits along the way. So the first part I'd like to start with is our pricing page. So a lot of people didn't know this, but we always had annual plans. Kind of our fault though, because you had to like call in to acquire that. So now we're making it forward facing. On our main website, there is a pricing tab at the top, and if you click on it, we're going to show you the three plans, starting with what the annual plan is going to look like. Most of our users, though, prefer the monthly plan. So I'm going to just switch over there, just to kind of explain that. But again, you can choose any of these three plans and move over to the annual plan. You do have some savings there, so we'll make sure that you get a discount in doing so. But here are the three plans. So most of you are already on the essential plan. You guys are familiar with that, $99 a month. However, the difference is we've increased your monthly save and export limit to be more aggressive in today's marketing. We know that you guys are dumping a lot of marketing out there. We know this is a numbers game, so we increased your limit from 10,000 to now 25,000 every single month. So look out for that.
Mm.
And then now we have the two new plans. And so what we were seeing is people were utilizing some of our add-on features quite a bit, like Lead Automator. That allows you to import outside leads and get our data. It allows you to automate a list that you've created and added filters to. So we could send emails and let you know when new filter or new um, data that meets that criteria gets added. we also wanted to make sure that you benefited from using all these add-ons. So we created a package called the Pro package. It's $199 a month. And here's what you get. You're going to get 50,000 monthly saves and exports. We're also going to give you two full team members. If you have a VA or maybe you have an intern or maybe you have a business partner now, you don't have to pay it. This package is going to come with two additional team members. So you have a total of three users now. And then the big one, and this is me just saying the big one, don't take my word on it, but you're going to get free skip tracing up to 50,000 leads every single month. Do the math.
Wow.
So that's about
Wow.
$6,000 every month that you could save. Um, Again, our whole goal is to alleviate those speed bumps to get you in front of that homeowner, and we believe that this is one of those bigger ones. So I might be a little bit biased here, but if you're going to see yourself skip tracing, if you see your team building or starting to scale where you do need team members, I'd probably recommend the Pro plan.
Hmm.
As for the elite plan, that's more designed for like a little bit larger of a team, maybe someone that's starting a call center now. This one will give you 100,000 monthly saves and exports, and then nine full access team members, so total 10 users, and again, free skip tracing up to 100,000. Oh, and the thing I forgot to mention as well, both of these plans will also give you lead automator up to the monthly limit. And again, lead automator is the feature that automates your list that you've built. It also lets you import outside leads to get our data. So if you bought a vacant list from 3 years ago and you haven't thrown away, good. Bring that back in. We can update it for you so you can see which ones are still off market and to go after.
You know, Burton, I've really taken that lead automator thing to the next level, bro. So I've been using AI, Grok specifically to scrape lead county.
Hmm.
And because the lead itself only gives me specific property info, what I love
Yeah.
about the list automator is that as long as I'm able to get just an address, so if I were to go
Yes.
123 Main Street, and even just like San Antonio, I don't even need the state or the zip, and I can still import that information into the list automator, and PropStream will automatically complete those data points for me and also tell
Hmm.
me the accuracy of the data. It is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, PropStream doesn't pick it up all the time, but they pick up a huge portion of it. So what I've been doing is I've been using these scraper bots on the outside. And if you guys have been watching my YouTube content, y'all know I've already gone all in on AI, right? So like I systems and softwares built out that rip county leads now. So like I take the county leads, I'm only ever able to get addresses and then the document
Correct.
tag. So if it's a pre-foreclosure lead that's from the county, doesn't always mean it's going to show up on PropStream either. You got to also take into consideration PropStream warehouses probably over 800 million property records. It's a lot, right? And so like I can't imagine that updating that data every single month is always going to be on point with all 50 states. You'd be crazy to
Right.
think so, but they are probably the best in the business when it comes to it. Regardless, there is not a single software out there where you can input addresses and it'll auto complete all the information for you and give you whatever list that they're currently on within the platform. So, man, I mean, it's such a great thing. The list automator, I feel like, is one of the most slept on devices inside or
Oh,
add-ons in.
I agree with that. And I think that's probably why we included it. And I love that you gave us your example of using it. And
Yep.
it's funny, that's exactly how I vision it was supposed to be used. Bring in
Yep.
your outside list. I always say real estate's a jigsaw puzzle. Like no two houses, no two homeowners are going through the same scenario. Some people might have a few pieces, put them together, problem solved. Some might have hundreds. It may take months to solve, right? And I love
Mhm.
that you've recognized that. I'm able to get data elsewhere, bring it into PropStream and get other pieces of the puzzle and then
Yep.
organize it because again, we give you the categories that that property might be in and filters. So you can import, not only get our data, but then say, who of these properties I just import has a fixed rate and some equity or no equity because I want to sub to it or whatever. So thank you for recognizing that. And
Of
that's really
course.
the whole point of it. So yeah, lead
And I love,
automator,
like,
definitely a powerful feature.
I love the idea of owning my records, and I think that that's what makes it so powerful. Because if I bought the data 5 years ago and I'm hopping back into the business after taking a 5 year hiatus, right? You don't have to rebuy that much records because that's going to cost you a lot of money. Use any relevant platform where you're buying per lead, and you're going to be paying anywhere between 15 to 27 cents per record. That includes phone numbers and emails and information, and whatnot. We've already paid for that before, right? I would imagine that instead of going out and buying a new list, just pay for the $200 plan. You get 100,000 exports, 100,000 leads that can be imported into the platform. Forgive me if that's right. It's 50,000, right? But you could take those
50,000 for the 200, right? Yeah.
yeah. You could take those 50,000 records of that list that you bought in 2015, 2016, 2017, and import it into PropStream and get the most relevant information today of what that looks like for that software. So like to me, it's like you don't ever have to keep rebuying leads. You can actually just let PropStream do its thing and then set up an automation in regards to that so that every single month it's updating that list for you. And it's a baller play, bro. Like
Yeah,
legit.
absolutely. We actually we run the filters every day, and it's funny because you're right. Some leads do get updated like monthly, which is like our vacant leads. The Postal Service will send out usually once a month. But like some people will ask for 10 years of ownership. Well, tomorrow could be someone's 10th year of ownership. So you see why having lead automator is important because are you going to log in every day to find out if someone's 10th year is today? Or maybe you just set your filters, set up Lead Automator, and then we email you when someone lands on their 10th year on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, right? I definitely think Lead Automator, to your point, is a very slept on feature, and that's okay. It's again, it's new to the industry. People are used to running their own leads, right? Essentially build my list and stay on top of it. So I don't think the industry is used to assistance yet, right? In terms of AI can help me or these features can help me organize what I'm already doing. Again, just a time saver. If you use it correctly, I do believe it could save time and ultimately save money at the end of the day. So thank you for mentioning that. The next thing would be our new AI data set. So I don't know if you want me to show you how that works. I
Throw it
think it's a
out.
really cool feature that again has been slept on, but I'd love to share it.
Yeah, man, let's do it. This is awesome, bro. Honestly, like
Uh,
I feel like my audience hasn't seen me do a prop stream video in a while. So just getting the info on what's happening with the acquisition of Batch and then now what it's also bringing to the table. I mean, all of this is a bonus, dude. So for sure.
oh, and I'm sure we're going to be back because as the tech decks integrate and we start adding new features, I'm going to be back. There's a lot to talk about. I'm sure I'll be back in about 2, 3 weeks. We have some things we're working on. If everything goes well, I'm sure we'll be talking about that as well. But let's share. So, for those that don't know, we integrated AI into PropStream in November of last year. We integrated two AI data sets. So first, let me explain how this thing works. For those that don't know, here's how the real estate software business works. A, B, C. A is where you get the data. B is the software that houses that data. And C is the consumer that pays the subscription for B. And then B lets them filter and do all that stuff. Guess who we are? We're B, right? So we get our data from a lot of different vendors. And one of those data sets, as we talked about earlier, is the MLS. So when we pull MLS data, it's great for our users for many reasons. For example, Quentin's in Texas. Why is MLS data very important in that market? Because you're going to need it to comp. Texas is a non-disclosure state, so having MLS data is very good for the 12, I believe, 14 states that are non-disclosure because you can use it to comp. Other reasons why MLS data is really good, failed leads, right? And when a property doesn't sell through an agent, hello, investors, that's your opportunity to come in there and swoop right on in and provide them that second option, right? So running comps, failed leads, expired listings, or knowing what's on market, just even that is important. There was a day in the past, I remember the times when people would grab a list of properties and not know what was on or off market. And so when they're calling the homeowners, they would get embarrassed on the phone. It's already listed, right? And so many reasons why having MLS data is very important. I just list a few. However, AI comes into the picture, and we see how AI is being used by some of these other products, marketing and this and that. And are we looking at it in that form as well? Yes, but we always look at it in the lens of data first. How can we use AI to enhance our data? And so we came up with two things. So the way that the AI works is that one of our data sets is MLS. It's now analyzing that MLS data, and it's doing one very important thing right now, what we're telling it to do, and it's to analyze photos. So when we're getting MLS data, sold, failed listings, I gave you the reasons, we're also getting photos. So right now, when I search San Antonio, Texas, for example, One of our data sets is the MLS. And so when I click on these 15,000 properties that are active on the market, you'll notice we got a lot of photos, right? So boom, look at number three, it has photos. So what we've instructed our AI to do is to analyze these photos and give it a grading system. Now, you could easily do this. You can go through these photos and click on each property and determine, what is this property? Is it good? Is it bad? Is the kitchen in disrepair? And
Sounds
so
time consuming.
very time consuming, especially when you do something like this, okay? So I'm looking for failed listings and let's say I want to do subject to, right? So I'm looking for a failed listing that's owned by an individual and has a mortgage. So there's, an assumable mortgage, conventional FHA, and let's say its rate is under 5%. Okay. So typically a pretty good sought after list if you're doing subject to. But the problem is that some of these properties aren't going to have photos. And so, what is a conversation that we'll have with that homeowner? Hey, what's the condition of the property? Because that's going to determine whether you have to do some renovations and then put someone in to take over the note, or if there's no renovations needed, then we can just go on with the cash flow, right? So with the grading system, we have now added a filtering menu for it. So this is our new filtering menu for PropStream Intelligence. This now lets you do amazing stuff. Like for example, if I want to sub to a property, but I don't want to put money into the renovations, well, now that PropStream has graded these photos for me, I could say, okay, I want a failed listing with an assumable loan under 5%, and the overall condition of the property is in good, excellent, or better. Now, again, to Q's point, 4,000 results. It looks like excellent is not a popular category. It's like you're probably not going to see excellent too often in San Antonio. So let's go with good. But here you go. So 31 results. Essentially, these are 31 homeowners. I don't have to ask about the condition of the property. Straight to the point. Your
Yep.
property failed on the market. It's in great condition. So as you can see, we can see all the photos to the property now. And not
Without
only,
do that, it did that on its own. That's the technology behind it. That's what's so beautiful about this is speed.
and it has the grading system here, so you could see the bathroom average. So how are we doing this? We have MLS data. Our AI is analyzing, in this case, the 30 photos and then breaking down the total, the exterior, the interior, the kitchen, and the bathroom. Now, again, you might think, oh, well, this is great or not great. But to me, the powerful part is not the grading system itself, is the fact that you can filter the grading system. So in this case, I need a failed listing that's in great condition with an assumable loan. I don't have to worry about remodeling. Or maybe you're a fix and flipper, and that's actually what you want. You want a property that's in disrepair or worse. So show me all the properties that is in poor condition or worse. Go through all those MLS photos, the 15,000 and some, and show me these properties. And as you can see, here's your properties that are in disrepair. Oh, actually, this one is a project. And so that one I have to mark. But let's go to this one right here. So that one looks like someone has just recently uploaded it. But this one is in March. So let me
Hmm.
write down that previous address because that one is a discrepancy. I want to make sure we fix that one. That one looks like it was just remodeled.
That's normal.
Okay.
That's expected when you're dealing with a software that warehouses millions of records, y'all. So don't.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing too is we get this question a lot. Is this live data? No, there isn't. So, like for example, this property, the photos were uploaded in March of 2025. So how many months has that been? About 4 months now. But you can see I'm asking for poor condition. And so very, very poor condition. So as an investor renovator, great. However, to your point, Quentin, is there a possibility that someone may have already acquired this property and they're in the middle of renovating it now, right? Could this property no longer look like this? Absolutely. Why haven't we changed the grading if that's the case? We're waiting for them to put it back on market. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
the AI can only analyze the static images. And so I believe that is essentially what had happened with this property. So I'm going to say it's a discrepancy, but the reality is, I believe, see, this property has only been owned for 2 months. I believe
Ah,
this right here, there you have it. So this is July. Literally, this month has been uploaded. So I'm I'm almost certain this grading system was the previous condition of the
Got it.
property. You know what I mean? So this one has not yet analyzed these new, this property just hit the market this month and yeah, literally just hit the market 6 days ago. So I think our AI just hasn't reverted back to it. So give it
Yeah.
about 48 hours, and I'm sure this grading system will change and this will be knocked off the list. But that's essentially, again, just an example of how our AI is utilizing the AI or the system. It's analyzing these photos. If it's in bad condition, we put in bad. With this property, it was bad. It's going to be in great condition in the next few days once our AI reanalyzes that photo. So, but that's
Yeah.
how it works. And then the second one, Q, is our foreclosure factor. So one of our huge data sets is pre-foreclosure and foreclosure. What we decided to tell our AI to do is analyze those leads, bank-owned foreclosures, mortgage data, run it across every property in the market. And so now you can use our foreclosure factor to identify properties that are essentially heading in that direction. So, for example, find me someone that's high foreclosure factor, but I want to stay away from the pre-foreclosure foreclosure category. And I just want to speak to an individual who's probably owned this for like 5 years. So the idea here is I don't want to go after pre-foreclosure because that's a very competitive category. So use this AI data to find me homeowners that are heading in that direction that are not in pre-foreclosure yet. And so we have 11,000 properties that have a high foreclosure factor due to the similarities of their nature, essentially the details of their property. So it could be the mortgage, the interest rate, it could be the years of ownership, it could be the increases in taxes, but there's a high foreclosure factor on this property. And so these are the two new AI data sets that we have, Q.
This is just amazing, man. Like honestly, taking it to this level and integrating this type of intelligence. I'm gonna call it PSI because it just sounds good, PropStream
That's
intelligence.
exactly what we call it, PropStream intelligence.
And it honestly, these data points are so crucial. Like, guys, failed listings, right? Let's look at all the ones that are in good condition. And then let's look at the mortgages on them, right? So they clearly just bought them recently. These are prime suspects for subject to different real estate strategies. And that's what I love about PropStream is that they tailor to every type of strategy that you guys can think of. Now, I love the new features, right? With that being said, one of the features that I've always appreciated with Batch that is actually new, and I think they launched it a little bit probably toward the end of last year, is the idea of unlimited skip tracing, right? And I'm wondering if, because of the acquisition of this, does that showcase different types of things that we can expect to see in PropStream here as the months fall off of the calendar? I'm just interested because I know for a fact that skip tracing, it's one thing to export. So PropStream has a limit, right? Not
Yeah.
PropStream has a limit on exports. So does Batch, right? So Batch allows for you to now search a record and get a phone number, right? And I think that that's super cool. Is that a feature that we can expect, or what can we expect as the months fall off of the calendar to see as far as new features goes into PropStream?
Oh, in terms of skip tracing, we are the free skip tracing, we already have that. In terms of unlimited, no, we don't, because there is a monthly limit to each of the plans. Again, the Essentials 25,000, the Pro is 50,000, and then the Elite is 100,000. So you get free skip tracing up to those limits. So if we're talking about the Essential or the Pro plan, because that's where the free skip tracing first kicks in, is the Pro plan. That's about Oh man, that's about 600,000 records that you get to skip trace every single year.
That's
As for the Pro plan, that's 100,000 records every month. So 1.2 million skip tracing that you can do. In terms of unlimited, I mean, no, but that's a lot of, I mean,
when I say unlimited,
600,000
I
for
don't
the
mean
Pro
like
plan. Yeah.
when I say unlimited, I don't mean like we can pull that, right? Like to
Oh, okay.
export.
Yeah.
I mean like
I'm
let's say
sorry.
I just looked, I searched 123 Main Street. Like in Batch, if I search 123 Main Street, I can see the lead and I can see a phone number associated with it. Now, they don't let me export that. There's a limit to how many you can export, obviously, because
Right.
a lot, right? It's a lot of data. How many people do you think are just going to go in and try to export everything? That's just it's a dev nightmare, right? Because then you're overloading something, and I could imagine
Right.
that being not good, right? So, one of the
Oh
things,
well, we're allowing it again up to your limit. If you wanted to pull a list of 50,000 cash buyers and skip trace 50,000 cash buyers right now, you'll get those results and then you'll be able to export all 50,000 if you'd
that's
like.
amazing.
And so to your point, because again I'm on the pro plan right now, The way to operate it is I build my list. So this is my foreclosure factor list here. I can
Okay.
save all 11,000. Doing so will send it over to my properties page. And
Hmm.
now, because of the Pro and Elite plan, when you click on skip tracing, should just say free right off the bat. You're not paying for it unless, again, you're on the essential plan. If you're on the essential plan, there's still an a la carte cost to it, still 12 cents a lead, but Pro and Elite plan. So in my case, I could skip trace up to 50,000 leads right now if I wanted to at no additional cost to my
That's
monthly
amazing.
subscription. Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
yes, to answer your question, they should be able to just search an address, whether it's one or 30 of them, and then skip trace and get that phone number, email.
Got it. Got it. Man, it's beautiful. What kind of features are y'all planning to move over as far, because obviously we're all excited for a dialer, man. Prop dialer just has
Yes.
a ring to it. I swear to God, with that, please say Q had an opinion on the name. All right. Because prop dialer.
Well, I will say, Q, it's you and your community. I've always asked for and brought good suggestions to PropStream. And obviously one of the biggest asks has always been a dialer. And so the answer is absolutely yes. I don't have an ETA yet, but the goal is to we're working as quickly as possible to eventually integrate the data sets together. And again, I visualize in the very near future, hopefully that you guys will be able to log into PropStream, do what you're doing. The only difference is in the campaign section, there's now a dialer that you'll be able to use. So build your list, get the phone numbers, depending on your plan, it might be free. And then you'll be able to hopefully dial out to them and speak to someone versus, sending an email or postcard and waiting for them to call back. So I really think this is going to kind of be an evolution to PropStream itself, where I will say, even though we are an outbound product where you build a list and it's designed to outbound, it essentially isn't inbound because you still have to wait for them to call back to you, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're cold calling. And if you were cold calling, again, people would step outside of PropStream. So I think we're really just finally closing in that gap to really making this a true outbound platform. Build a list, get phone numbers, and use the dialer to get in front of a homeowner versus waiting for them to get on market through an agent or reach another competitor and get on contract with them. No, I want to be the one that helps you. I want to be the one to put you on contract and do what I got to do to solve your problem. And that's what we're aiming to achieve.
This is exciting, man. Really, guys. I mean, PropStream has always been an all-in-one platform. They also have a direct mail marketing side to the business. It's been great. They help you organize. It's an internal CRM. You can pull leads. It's access to MLS nationwide. It's like so much that comes with PropStream and now a dialer, like and more, right? So like this is what I love about this software is that it's always evolving. It's not an overload. It's just add-ons to things that we all need that we've all been asking for. And to me, man, this has got to be one of the most user-friendly platforms in the industry. So, Burton, I feel like I got so much from you today, man. What is one piece that you think we're missing from this that you'd like to add to the end of this call?
No, well, this is a personal thing. I'll say I'm finally happy. I don't ever have to answer the question, what's the difference between batch and PropStream anymore? Um, so that's a win for me. But I think it's also a win for everybody. Let's face it. I would look at the chat and I would see everyone, ask what is the difference between the two, and that sometimes would stop someone from even doing what they have to do, right? Analysis paralysis, if you will. And so I think that the two powerhouses finally coming together is a huge win. As the technology will be integrated eventually into PropStream, I think this is a huge win for our investors, right? So that's really my only message is um, I know there are some fans out that are like, why did you do it? Whether side you're on, but again, it's the benefit for everybody. And I think we both companies, not just PropStream, but both companies, the intention was to do it for you guys, right? They didn't have to sell to us and we didn't have to acquire them, but through several conversations and several meetings, we knew the bigger picture. We knew that it's a matter of what is best for our users. And this acquisition proves that. So we hope you guys enjoy it. We hope that you'll see in the months to come all this new technology coming out over here at PropStream. Love to hear your feedback. Now's a huge opportunity to let us know what you like, what you see, what you don't like. But Q, I'm sure I'll be back. We have a lot to come in the next few months.
I'm excited, Burton. I really appreciate you, man. Guys, if y'all are interested in trying out PropStream, there's a link in the comment section of this video. Make sure y'all click below. Burton's a great resource, man. He'll be doing more videos with me as the months fall off of the calendar and as this merge happens. What you guys can always expect is that this isn't just like PropStream buying a company. No, this is two big major entities that are merging together to deliver an experience to you guys to help y'all scale your real estate businesses even further so that we can also help more people that are going through the worst times in their lives, right? So, man, I'm gonna end it on that note, Burton. I really appreciate you, bro, for just jumping on my call, man. Thank you.
Always will, man. Thank you for having me, Q.
All right, guys, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see y'all on the next one.